Hello, everyone. I'm Jamie Price. Interesting energies this month that I'm going to cover, and a few clarifying visions that came along with that as well. And of course, we're in an eclipse series. We're certainly building on the lunar eclipse in Pisces and last month's topic, which was preparing the body. And of course, we are within this year of wholeness, creating more wholeness in ourselves, even with that tri-wave brain flow that Ariane's been talking about, which I'll reference in a bit. If you haven't watched the video from last month and the recent Cosmic Consciousness Ascension deck card reading that I did that has some information for the eclipse series and the equinox, I will put a link to that below. I highly recommend that you watch both of those actually for just a little more context into these incredible times that we are in. First, we do have a solar eclipse in Libra on October 2nd, and I'm being shown that this reset of energy is actually affecting the pineal, really opening that as the subconscious reset from September's lunar eclipse is continuing to shift our perception. And it feels like we get more laser focused, which in this sense can even mean more clarity when things are a broader focus or that dispersed beam. That solar eclipse that's coming up just feels very moon heavy for some reason, as if like more than normal, as if like the subconscious is still really being worked through in order to shift our conscious perceptions. And ultimately, this makes sense because the energy focused last month of preparing the body was reinforcing the tri-wave brain flow that Ariane, the Lyran Council of Time, has been indicating as we're transforming through this time into a greater conscious connection with the infinite mind. And of course, this is very tied into the energies this month, which are internal sun, S-U-N, sun, internal sun, especially with so much energy from the sun, a lot of solar flares. It's a very active time for the sun. Makes a lot of sense. But before I talk about actually the visions that came along with this, which will clarify how this is affecting the body, I want you to remember that last month's topic also had a connection to Akhenaten and preparing the body for unity consciousness. I'm being shown how this correlates to those energies connected to that unity consciousness. And of course, it's still calling us to focus on sovereignty within the experience of the connected collective. Essentially, I am separate and I am connected. I am living the density experience of separation within the unified universe of connection, or the internal and the external, that connection, so that we're moving beyond that duality of separation or connection, that we're recognizing the both of those. And then that transcends into that experience beyond just duality. And this is an important part of these energies, and part of why Ariane, the Lyran Council of Time, is calling this internal sun, to consciously remind us that what is external is internal and vice versa. As the sun lights the world, so does your inner realm. As the sun fuels that creative growth, so does your inner realm. And it's easy to think that our internal sun is not as powerful as the external sun. And of course, it's different in form, scale, intensity, time, function. Of course, there's differences, but there's also similarities, so that we aren't getting stuck on the differences. We are connecting those. I am separate and I'm connected. There's an external sun and an internal sun, and they function similarly. You have a power within you that creates life in many different ways. And it's part of the necessary makeup of life. Like without the cells, there's no organs, there's no body. Your internal sun illuminates and it fuels your creative growth. It ignites your inner spirit. It ignites understanding, creativity, change, growth, evolution. And of course, as Ariane always says, when the loving ones are boldly getting their energy into this world, that's when it really changes. Get your energy into this world. Let your inner sun nurture your creative growth because that's always flowing. And that brings me to some of the visions that I was given for this month. First, I was shown how our tri-wave brain flow is initiating some changes very specifically through the corpus callosum that will amplify that right and left brain interaction and to further amplify the connection between the frontal lobe and the subconscious, the limbic and the frontal lobe, so that we are more whole-brained. And as they were showing me this, they were pointing out, of course, yet again, how important neutrality is so that we're actually open to new information or in a creative flow rather than a reactive flow. And I have felt a lot more reactivity lately, just like coming up, like the flare of it, kind of like the solar flares, even if it's not expressed, that just sensing that and feeling that coming up for resolution, coming up for that moment in the sun to be able to express and resolve in a different way. And of course, on the collective level, definitely there as well. Get your loving, peaceful intentions into this realm so that we're not just reacting to what's going on, we're creative with it. Your energy is flowing in. And that's the whole point of our internal sun, really nurturing that creative flow within us. Now, the next part of the vision as the corpus callosum enhances and that greater whole brain flow initiates along with your neutrality, I was actually shown a lotus opening up, like the entire head is expanding and opening from the throat, the whole head opening and spinning. And that's opening the mouth, connection with that ancient practice in Egypt, opening the throat, the chakra of manifestation, time, destiny, really amplifying our creative flow. And those of you that watched the September video, you know that I had just randomly read Key 205 recently in the Keys of Enoch. And I talk about it a lot in that video, but I was going back there just to read a little bit more, reread some things, because you know how that is. It's quite an intense book. And I opened to a page in Key 205 that actually looked very similar to the vision that I just explained. So clearly, I was tapping into what I had been connecting with before, but that same flow with the bipyramidal and the tripyramidal flow that's talked about in Key 205. But now I was being shown how our body is working with that this natural coherence creates our bipyramidal and tripyramidal flow, which is what Ariane has been referencing with that tri-wave brain flow. Now, let's cover the final vision that I was shown because it's tied to the key 205 and this month's energies, last month's energy. That's why I wanted to bring up that preparing the body was connected to Akhenaten because of that unity consciousness. So in this last vision, I was shown a crystal pyramid and heard light prism. And we all know that you see the rainbow because the prism refracts that light and separates it out into the rainbow or focuses it into the rainbow where we can actually see that visually. But I was then shown a stone pyramid, like the pyramids of Giza, and I heard sound prism. Now, this, of course, is oversimplifying this. Not that that's the only thing that those do or the totality of that meaning, but this was a reminder for us that we are both very physically. We are dense form where light does not seem to escape from our internal sun, yet sound travels through rather easily. Again, oversimplification, because we know certain waves that we can't see can penetrate the even physical objects. But sound travels through and from us, rearranging form like we see with cymatics. Our crystalline nature is what we are moving into. That's what ascension is all about. That's what enlightenment is all about. And it's even why my modality was named Crystalline Soul Healing back in 2005. Because as we clarify our energy field into a crystalline structure, energy flows more easily. It flows more powerfully. We become more coherent, more cosmically coherent, more creative, more connected. That's our crystalline structure. Less density, less distortion, more clarity, more lightness and connectedness as we move through the density experience of separation of linear time. And the tri-wave brain flow of more consistent connection helps us transcend that duality, to understand it, to perceive it, to be creative within it, to connect on broader levels, while also still being within the experience of it. Ultimately, recognizing that we are a light prism, we are a sound prism, we are focusing, rearranging, emitting, receiving sound and light at all times. And the pyramid is just the static form of the spiral. You are in constant movement. You're emitting sound and light, even in your silence. An internal sun is a reminder that you have a power generator within you that fuels life. Use it, loving one. Ignite your loving intentions into this world. And of course, speaking of that, the intention for this month connected to internal sun is I am the light of life. I am the light of life. And that is you lighting things with your awareness, lighting creative flow, lighting change, igniting that with your intentions, your desires, your creative flow. I am the light of life. Repeat it daily, repeat it often. It amplifies and ignites your internal sun that's always there. It's always been there. It's always flowing, but to bring more consciousness to that, to emit your unique sound and light into this world, even in your silence. Envision it because it is happening. And that is what a coherent energy field does constantly in this realm of linear time. You are a light prism. You are a sound prism. You are refracting light, love, intention, change into the human experience. Do remember to follow me on Instagram to stay tuned for any Egypt updates while I'm traveling. Please like the video, leave a comment below on the light that you want to emit into this world. And I hope you have a powerful, beautiful, peaceful October and enjoy the crystalline soul healing and light language. Nema krir hakarit aratand, brom hansherut us okrorat im. Grem hakrail an storat sem, cheruk okorat aktiromat im. Hambrat ail renenehat I, gonon soch arok harakayet kormek ankayet I. Hebrom at shanat akrayasal renandet, imchurak ankirat ansuratel rena, obrandet il kror hanian ia, omnorak aka ansteyruk ukwam, gred al hrenit aurat sam charak ia. Akram hatshum ansechorat al, greret hend ima ka urat etia. Hamor kandiat an sukroratel, hanineer an sheruk okwam, sukoratiet, wema jor, no shaira kratel, haunker okoratat, nem orendit I, tsuncherik hankoret iak, korendhem oret il, nohrit I sakjarat, waraka ha, su. Hamnoradat isashtayanona samcherk, karel hakrearantat im sumcherut urit I. Umbrot and krail herni I, senshur memhork and krelert ind. Kanen hanshur urutsum demokrort aleknendet I. Taur hakan I sich rumder al erinner. Oa. Goat Yasukoshamati. Prema ninia kakam. Kamrorat ati enam stayurukorat. Kremah krandat al renutut ua. Brim hanchet nun suchokrorum. Mnim hakrandat handiarot such brand kayanand. Smaka kashtandat utsumma. Amnumaka andatint. Hurem